Meditate, manifest, invest in you. Join me on my spiritual journey as I elevate myself and like-minded listeners to a higher level mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for listening. This is Black Hippie Lounge, and I am your host, Chanel. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. What it do, baby? So I got a mic. You know what I mean? I told y'all 2022, I'm stepping it up. So I got a mic. Last week I had some technical difficulties trying to figure out how to connect it or whatever, but I figured it out. So here we are. Got a mic, and yeah, it's cool. I like it. I feel more professional. And so, yeah, let's get into it. Today is Sunday and January 23rd. I have no idea how January just flew by. I don't know if that's for anybody else, but January is flying for me. I've been super busy and I start classes tomorrow. So I'm not going to say I'm excited about that, but I guess I am a little bit, just because I know it's like about to be the end of the road. So pretty amped for that. I'm not amped for the fact that based on the syllabus, it says like I have a 50 to 75 page paper, but I'm not even going to touch that because I don't need that type of negativity in my life right now. So it is what it is. Like, we'll get there when we get there. Today I want to talk about a post that I saw on emotional maturity. And so I'm going to get into that in a couple of minutes. And I have a couple of interviews coming up. I just did an interview for another podcaster, and so I will definitely share that when she releases it. Her podcast, the name of the podcast is called Love Thyself, and I'm not sure, I think I said that last week to you guys, but yes, I will let you know when it's posted and share on my page, and I'm gonna definitely interview her as well. And like I said, I have a couple of different interviews coming up from people that want to be on the podcast. So definitely, if you're one of those people who want to be featured, definitely contact me on Instagram, send me a DM, and I can definitely make it happen. I just bear with me. I am busy with work and school and stuff like that, but I definitely will make time to make it work. And I have a couple of other podcasts that I'm going to be a guest on too. So I'm super excited for that. And to be able to collab. I want to definitely collab more this year with other podcasters to be able to spread, the word about my podcast, but also just to have good conversation with people. I love having good conversation, in-depth conversation, but also like having fun, laughing and stuff like that. So I'm excited for that. Definitely excited. So yeah, for the month of February, I'm actually booked. So, but I will, like I said, I definitely want to keep working with people. So I'm excited. So hope that everybody had a good week, good weekend. And I want to talk about emotional maturity. So I feel like also, before I get into it, that I know for the past year or so, I know I've done like a lot of motivational information, and like I also have done some good interviews with people, but it's always like sharing information. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to share information, but I feel like I also, when it comes to the podcast, I do well with sharing information as far as like mental health and touching on certain topics. But when it comes to other topics like emotions and relationships, I haven't really touched on it too much, especially in my personal life. I don't know. I think part of it is because I don't want to say like I'm a private person with that type of stuff, but at the same time, I am pretty selective of what I tell people. And I also feel like for me, I can be open emotionally and stuff, I just don't like to be emotional, if that makes any sense. Like, when it comes to crying, or actually, like, if it's not a good feeling, like if it's a sadness or even like anger, I try to reject that or not really tap into that as much. And I think with therapy has helped me to realize that it's human to feel like that, those emotions, and that it's better to allow myself to let those emotions flow and, get out of me, versus like trying to avoid them and then let them build up to the point where when I do release it, then it's like overload. So if you're like me, who sometimes you tend to do the same thing, I want to challenge you to let yourself feel all the emotions that you have as humans, not just the good ones. And because there's a reason, crying is like, it's a good stress relief. And, like I said, when you don't want to carry that around in your aura and your spirit, you want to have good aura about you. And I'm not saying that having sadness in you is bad, but it's just not something that you're meant to hold on to. You know what I mean? You're meant to release those feelings. So I just want people to tap in and, allow yourself to feel. And like I said, for me, me crying is very rare. It's very rare for me to cry. It's not like I'm trying to be like tough. It's just, I think that for me, I try to keep, when I'm in those spaces of potentially getting sad or something, I feel like a coping mechanism that I learned was to keep myself busy, and I think that when I'm not busy, and if I am just chilling and I start thinking about stuff, then that's when those emotions do come, and it can be overwhelming. And then I'm like, I'm not trying to be, sad Sarah today, so I'm about to just, forget about it and try to make myself laugh. I always try, which is fine. I don't think it's a bad thing to try to make yourself laugh. I guess my point is, like, allow yourself to feel too. Don't hold on to it. And that's something I definitely have learned in therapy, is not to hold on to stuff. Pack light, like I always say, pack light. So I have to practice what I preach, right? So I just wanted to shout that out, if you're feeling something, allow yourself to feel. It's normal to feel sad, it's normal to feel down, but just don't stay there. If you can, try not to, and talk to somebody. Like, I'm not joking when I say, if you gotta talk to somebody, you can reach out to me. Like, I'm busy, but I don't have a problem making time for people. And you don't have, it's not just for like friends and family. You're a listener, you're family too to me. I appreciate you guys, for real. So if you want to talk to me about something, I'm not a licensed professional, just disclaimer, but I still have no problem listening. And, if I can help, I have no problem helping. So, definitely, if you're listening and you feel, some type of way, and you want to talk to somebody and you don't feel like you have anybody else to talk to, or you just want to talk to me because I'm just that cool, reach out. I have no problem talking to you. So just keep that in mind. All right. So like I said, today's topic is about emotional maturity. So I saw a post on a page that I feel like I've shouted out this page before, but let me go back to it. It's on Instagram. So the page is called Young YUNG_Pueblo. I believe he's like a writer. So it says, the connection brings you together, but the emotional maturity is what makes it work. So I'm going to read the caption underneath. It's a long caption. So it says, can you build with someone who has not taken the time to build within themselves? Can you know each other well if you have not made the effort to look within and know yourselves as individuals? Can your love for each other be whole, strong, nurturing, and giving if you have not activated the power of self-love within yourselves? Even when you do not know where to begin, the simple intention of committing yourself to personal growth will start the widening of your self-awareness. Wholeheartedly committing to being radically honest with yourself, will help you see things you missed before. From this point, the inner journey begins and you start traversing your personal emotional landscape, understanding the motivations behind your actions, the way your history impacts your behaviors, and the way attachment tries to place constraints on the movement of reality without success. From this point, the foundation of emotional maturity begins its long-term construction, and the experience you gain from this building project will bring a new clarity to all of the interactions you may have with others. A world that was once I'm sorry, I don't know why I can't read today. Full of confusion and friction, will start developing a new sense of harmony and effectiveness. Connection is bountiful, but connection is not enough. Connection is a needed beginning, but connection is not the sturdy bridge you need to cross to enter a space where you both feel nourished and ready for a long journey together. When you both bring at least some degree of emotional maturity, you will have a much better chance at overcoming the friction that is common when people enter into close proximity. Two people meet at a much deeper level when they enhance their connection with gentleness, authentic listening, and the fullness of compassion that honors themselves and their partner. Each time you take steps forward in your personal growth, you will have more experience to help you show up for each other in times of joy and struggle. Sending love to all. Yes. Okay. So that's a lot to unpack, but he is right on the money with that. Okay. All right. So when I saw the post, the connection brings you together, but the emotional maturity is what makes it work, I automatically thought of relationships and how, like he said, like I've definitely been in those situations where I have a strong connection with someone, but if that emotional maturity isn't there for the both of us, that connection won't be as sturdy as it can be. Like it says, connection is bountiful, but connection is not enough. It's not. Because if you think about it, the connection is just what brings you together, but your emotional maturity is what keeps it going, because we all as humans, we have free will. So at any point, if you're not happy in something, yes, you can leave. But if you practice emotional maturity, I feel it allows you to not have this mindset of like, oh, when something bad happens, then I gotta bounce, And I feel like emotional maturity allows you to tap into your feelings to know that you do care about this person greatly, or you do love them. So, even when things go bad, you don't just jump ship. Unless it's some things like, I feel like growing into relationships, you have to have your boundaries. You have to have your non-negotiables. I don't know. I'm sure people have heard that before. And if someone, crosses your boundary or crosses a non-negotiable, then yes, I support, like, do what you feel like you need to do. If you need to leave. But I feel like a lot of the times with relationships nowadays, it's like people are just so quick to jump ship. And, again, like I said, do what works for you, but just know that no relationship is going to be perfect, and they're going to have ups and downs. And it's like, for me, I know me personally, I look at people like, okay, yeah, you're here for me when I'm up, but what are you doing when I'm down? Are you there for me, or do you abandon me, or you're not really as supportive, or you're not really down as much. Because for me, loyalty is a big thing. Loyalty, somebody having my back, and being accountable, and being emotionally mature and vulnerable and available within themselves to also be able to do so with others. Because like the post says on the beginning, can you love, it says, can you build with someone who has not taken the time to build within themselves? That's a very important thing for me, because it's something that I've learned through dating is like, if you don't know who you are, it's going to be harder for you to get to know me. And if you haven't built yourself and you're not in tune with yourself, you're not in love with yourself, how are you going to be able to be in love with me or with anybody else? Because pretty much every relationship that you have is usually a mirror of yourself, right? We're all looking for people. Maybe you're not looking to date yourself, but you're looking for someone on your level. And if you haven't taken the time to really get to know yourself and build yourself to who you want to be, then it's going to be harder for you to be able to relate to another person that deep, if that makes any sense. Like, yeah, you're able to probably meet people and like be in these like relationships, but there's probably not much depth. Or when things get serious, or when things get real, some people, those people who are not in tune with themselves and who don't know who they are, who haven't actually taken the time to get to know themselves, they're not going to be able to withstand the storm, and there's a lot of power in loving yourself. There's a lot of power in being with yourself. And I've learned that firsthand, I feel, with the past like 2 or 3 years. Like I always say, like the pandemic, like that definitely heightened it up, but I was already going through that transformation in 2019. So now where I'm at is like, I love chilling by myself. I love having my own space. I do whatever I want here, but I take care of my place. It's my sanctuary, and you should do the same. Even if you don't have your own place, wherever you stay, you should take care of it as like it's your own. And your body is your sanctuary, and your body is your own, and your mind is your own. Like, you are your own person. And I feel like we as people need to take care of ourselves like that. Treat yourself to the highest standard in various ways, whether it be, make sure you look good to you when you step out. Make sure you take care of yourself. Make sure you talk to yourself with positive affirmations and just positive talk, and love on yourself. Take yourself out to a dinner. Even if you are in a relationship, you still need to make time for you and to take care of you. And I think that what the post are saying, like the connection, like I said, like I've had a lot of connections, and I have connections with people that, it's like we connect, we clicked, and we get each other to an extent. But if those people haven't taken the time to tap into themselves and allow themselves to have emotions and to understand their own emotions, then it makes it very difficult to take things further. You kind of get into this standstill, stagnant energy. It's like you're only going up the building, like maybe halfway or close to it, but they're too scared to go higher than that, because then you're tapping into your potential higher self. And when you have to do that, that's going into that shadow work. And I've talked about that before, because everybody has shadow work. Everybody has things that, whether it's from childhood or teenage years or young adulthood that have affected you emotionally. And we, it's like, just as humans, we subconsciously probably put them in the back burner. And I feel like when you have a real connection with someone and you are emotionally mature to an extent, and you're tapping into those emotions, the both of you, there's gonna be a point where things get real, and that's when you're like, dang, like, I actually really care about this person, or I really love them, and I think that at that point is when people either jump ship and they back off because they're like, I'm not trying to tap into that. And that's where the emotional maturity comes in. And it's like, okay, then you kind of realize that person isn't where they need to be emotionally and maturity wise. And so that person is not for you, because if your goal is to reach your higher self, and even if you are scared to do so, you're still tapping into your emotional maturity, and you're allowing yourself to feel whatever it is, and you're expressing yourself. And like I said, if you figure out, like, dang, like, hold up, do I really love this person? Like, am I in love with this person? And you can take the time to evaluate, like, hold up, like, before I go there, like, why do I feel this way, or something like that. And then once you've talked to, got tapped into yourself, and you figured out your answer, and then you get the courage to tell that person, it can be nerve-wracking, but even if you don't get the same response back, or get what you want back, or what you think the person should say, you still have allowed yourself to even tap into a higher level of emotional maturity, because you're self-aware. That's what I'm trying to say. Self-awareness. I feel like a lot of people don't have self-awareness, and especially in the emotional maturity aspect, or just emotional aspect. People are not able to tap into their emotions. Like, I can only speak from a heterosexual experience, but I feel like a lot of guys that I've talked to, or met, or even friends too, it's like they're not self-aware of their own feelings. Like, bruh, you're, I don't know why I said bruh, but like, I've had friends who have told me about people that they're dating or whatever, and I'm like, okay, so you're in love with her? Nah, I'm not gonna say all that. Like, no, what you just explained to me was someone who's in love, but go off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that a lot of people don't have, and this is men or women, because I've had girlfriends who do the same thing. It's just like having that awareness of what love is. And if you're not, even if you didn't grow up with the right quote unquote example of it, you're responsible, like I said, for yourself. And so you have to take the time to love on yourself, and to figure out what love is to you. And that's where you learn your love languages. Like before, I never really knew much about love languages, and in one of my relationships, that person introduced me to the concept of love languages, and for me to even test and figure out what that meant. And so now I have a great idea of what my love languages are. And that's what I mean. Like, it's just practicing that self-awareness and learning who you are, because nobody ever stays the same. We all grow through things, whether you want to or not, and it shapes who you are as a person, especially as you grow older and older. So the more you get older, the more you should practice falling in love with yourself over and over again. And that's why I say, like, loving yourself, it doesn't just mean standing in the mirror and saying, oh, I love you, like, it's also, taking yourself out, like, take yourself out on dates, and do things for you that you would want someone to do. It's like, I see a lot of it, it's like, date yourself. And I think that that's important, to be able to tap into yourself emotionally and really get to know who you are, so that when you do have connections, you're able to recognize your feelings and recognize whether that person is on your level emotionally. It's not even about financial or anything. It's like, to have a good connection and good relationships, that person has to be on the same frequency as you. It's just, that's something that I feel is true and what I've learned, and it's real. Like, if that person's not vibrating in the same way as you, there's gonna be a lot of hiccups. You're gonna be a lot of problems. If you're higher emotionally than the other person, then you're gonna be growing at a faster speed than them. And so when you're ready to tap into the emotions and express them, they're like, either they're not there or they're not even trying to get there. So I think with that post, it's just expressing the importance of, don't be so quick to say just because you have a connection with someone, that automatically they're the person for you, or that they're gonna be, get to know them emotionally. I guess that's my point, is like, get to really know somebody and on a friend level, and just get to really know them, talk to them, see how they grew up, what they think of emotions, and are they good at expressing them? Can they communicate their emotions? Or, do they verbally express their emotions, or do they do things by action, or do they just do nothing? And does that work for you? Because at the end of the day, when you're really loving yourself, you look out for you, and so you want to make sure that you're getting the best for you. And if the people that you're connecting with, you have a good surface-based level connection, but emotionally they're just not doing it for you, then you have to take care of you and decide whether that's something that you want to be bothered with or not, right? So, like you said, connection is bountiful, but connection is not enough. That's just the beginning. That's what brings you together. The connection is what brings you together. And then your emotional maturity and your ability to decide with free will, because we all have it, whether this person is worth it and worth, you continuing to grow with, that's up to you and that person too. So I'm gonna probably end it with that. Is just kind of tap into that and think about what that means for you. If you're someone who's dating or in a relationship, make sure you're practicing and making sure that you're getting what you need and what you want out of the relationship, especially emotional maturity wise and emotionally. And I think that's all I got for that. Like I said, I got a couple of episodes coming up, interviews and stuff, and so I'm looking forward to that. I'm really excited to do that this year. I hope that everybody is having a good week and good start to your week next week. So if you can, rate and review the podcast, 5 stars. And let me know what you like about it, any suggestions. If you want to be on the podcast as a guest, definitely let me know. And follow me on Instagram at Black Hippie Lounge. And I want to say thank you again for listening. I really appreciate my listeners for tapping in. And when you see me post that the episode is available, if you want to share the post, that can help too, to spread the word so other people can start listening as well. And I will end it with that. I don't know what else I was gonna say. Sorry. So yeah, just make sure you're practicing self-love. That's the main point here. And remember, everything happens in divine timing. And when you have a good aura about yourself and you're loving on yourself, you're going to attract the person that's going to be able to love you the same way. So rather than focus on when the person is coming, if you're in that situation, focus on just loving on you and making you happy and making your aura so bright that that person is going to be magnetically attracted to you. And that's when it's going to be for you. So I'm practicing that too. That's why I'm saying it. So like I said, this is my roundup here. It's about to kick me off. So hope you have a great night. Have a good week. And rate and review the podcast. 5 stars. Follow me on Instagram. Repost the post when I do it, and I appreciate you guys. Hope you have a good night. I'm your host, Chanel, and this is Black Hippie Lounge. Thank you for listening.